There is a great difference between maturity and aging. Vast difference. And people always remain confused about it. People think that to age is to become mature, but aging belongs to the body. Everybody is aging. Everybody will become old, but not necessarily mature. Maturity is an inner growth. Aging is nothing that you do. Aging is something that happens physically. Every child born when time passes becomes old. Maturity is something that you bring to your life. It comes out of awareness. When a person ages with full awareness, he becomes mature. Aging plus awareness, experiencing plus awareness is maturity. You can experience a thing in two ways. You can simply experience it as if you are hypnotized, unaware, not attentive to what is happening. The thing happened, but you were not there. It didn't happen in your presence. You were absent. You just passed by. It never struck any note in you. It never left any mark on you. You never learned anything from it. It may have become part of your memory because in a way you were present. But it never became your wisdom. You never grew through it. Then you are aging. But if you bring the quality of awareness to an experience, the same experience becomes maturity. There are two ways to live one, to live in a deep sleep. Then you age. Every moment you become old. Every moment you go on dying. That's all. Your whole life consists of a long, slow death. But if you bring awareness to your experiences, whatsoever you do, whatsoever happens to you, you are alert, watchful, mindful. You are savoring the experience from all the corners. You are trying to understand the meaning of it. You are trying to penetrate the very depth of it, what has happened to you. You are trying to live it intensely and totally. Then it is not just a surface within phenomenon. Deep down something is changing with it. You are becoming more alert. If this is a mistake, this experience, you will never commit it again. A mature person never commits the same mistake again. But a person who is just old goes on committing the same mistakes again and again. He lives in a circle. He never learns anything. You will be angry today, you were angry yesterday and the day before yesterday and tomorrow. You are going to be angry and the day after tomorrow also. Again and again you get angry, again and again. You repent. Again and again you make a deep decision that you are not going to do it again. But that decision makes no change whenever you are disturbed. The rage takes over, you are possessed, the same mistake is committed. You are aging. If you live an experience of anger totally, never again, will you be enough to teach that it is foolish, that it is absurd, that it is simply stupid? Not that it is a sin. It is simply stupid. You are harming yourself and harming others for nothing. The thing is not worth it. Then you are getting mature. Tomorrow the situation will be repeated, but anger will not be repeated. And a man who is gaining in maturity has not decided that he will not be angry again. No. That is the sign of a man who is not getting mature. A man of maturity never decides, for the future maturity itself takes care. You live today. That very living will decide how tomorrow is going to be. It will come out of it. If the anger was painful, poisonous, you suffered hell through it. What is the point of deciding or taking a vow and going to the temple and declaring, "Now, I take a vow that I will never be angry again"? All this is childish. There is no point. If you know that anger is poisonous, it is finished. That way is closed. That door no longer exists for you. The situation will be repeated tomorrow. But you will not be possessed by the situation. You have learned something. That understanding will be there. You may even laugh, you may even enjoy the whole thing of how people get so foolish. Your understanding is growing through every experience. You can live life as if you are in hypnosis. That's how 99% of people live. Or you can live with intensity awareness. If you live with awareness, you mature. Otherwise, you simply become old, and to become old is not to become wise. If you have been a fool when you were young, and now you have become old, you will be just an old fool, that's all. Just becoming old, you cannot become wise. You may be even more foolish, because you may have clung to mechanical habits, robot-like. Life can be lived in two ways. If you live unconsciously, you simply die. If you live consciously, you attain more and more life. Death will come, but it never comes to a mature man. It comes only to a man who has been aging and getting old. A mature person never dies because he will learn even through death. Even death is going to be an experience, to be intensely lived and watched aloud. A mature man never dies. In fact, on the rock of maturity, death struggles and shatters itself, commits suicide. Death dies, but never a mature man. That is the message of all the awakened ones, that you are deathless. They have known it. They have lived their death. They have watched and they have found that it can surround you. But you remain aloof. You remain far away. Death happens near you, but it never happens to you. Deathless is your being, blissful is your being, divine is your being. But those experiences you cannot cram into the mind and the memory. You have to pass through life and attain them. Much suffering is there, much pain is there, and because of pain and suffering, people like to live stupidly. It has to be understood why so many people insist that they should live in hypnosis. Why Buddhas and Christs go on telling people to be awake, and nobody listens. There must be some deep involvement in the hypnosis. There must be some deep investment. What is the investment? The mechanism has to be understood otherwise. You will listen to me, and you will never become aware. You will listen, and you will make it a part of your knowledge that yes, this man says be aware, and it is good to be aware. And those who attain awareness become mature. But you yourself will not attain it. It will remain just knowledge. You may communicate your knowledge to others, but nobody is helped that way. Why? Have you ever asked this question? Why don't you attain awareness? If it leads to infinite bliss, to the attainment of Satchitananda, to absolute truth, then why not be aware? Why do you insist on being sleepy? There is some investment, and this is the investment. If you become aware, there is suffering. If you become aware of pain. And the pain is so much that you would like to take a tranquilizer and sleep. This sleepiness in life works as a protection against pain. But this is the trouble. If you are asleep against pain, you are asleep against pleasure also. Think of it as if there are two faucets. On one is written pain, and on the other is written pleasure. You would like to close the faucet on which pain is written, and you would like to open the faucet on which pleasure is written. But this is the game. If you close the pain faucet, the pleasure faucet immediately closes, because behind both, there is only one faucet on which awareness is written. Either both remain open or both remain closed, because both are two faces of the same phenomenon, two aspects. And this is the whole contradiction of mind. The mind wants to be more and more happy, Happiness is possible if you are aware. And then the mind wants to be less and less in pain. But less and less pain is possible only if you are unaware. Now you are in a dilemma. If you want no pain immediately, pleasure disappears from your life, happiness disappears. If you want happiness, you open the faucet immediately. There is pain also flowing. If you are aware, you have to be aware of both. Life is pain and pleasure. Life is happiness and unhappiness. Life is day and night, life is life and death. You have to be aware of both. So remember it. If you are afraid of pain, you will remain in hypnosis, you will age, become old, and die. You missed an opportunity. If you want to be aware, then you have to be aware of both pain and pleasure. They are not separate phenomena. And a man who becomes aware becomes very happy, but also becomes capable of deep unhappiness, of which you are not capable.